Silver Lakes, located in California, a town crafted on glassy lakes and ground-up desert. Dust has a vibe that sets it apart from other communities. It seems like a place where neighbors often wave goodbye. From porch swings and the local bar has a soft spot for your favorite beverage. People travel to this tranquil town, not only to escape the cacophony of the city, but also to create a safe haven for their families, and to temporarily forget that the world is actually much more complicated than it seems. One of the inhabitants of this enchanting town was Robert Limon. Despite his trade as a railroad worker, Robert was known for his contagious laughter and an unparalleled work ethic. He had created a life that combined the best aspects of the conventional world. Married, his high school sweetheart Sabrina built a comfortable but modest home and relished his weekends by gliding on his boat, grilling up hot foods and basking in the warm California sun. To the eyes of others, Robert and Sabrina were the perfect couple, charming, outgoing, and close-knit in every sense of the word. Together, they created a life so idyllic that you might have a hard time not to envy them. However, beneath the picture-perfect facade of their marriage, the waters seemed to be murky at times. The Limons' relationship was not an exception. Although it was filled with undeniable love and shared memories, it had gone through a crucial phase, or, at the very least, it was unraveling, taking on layers of complexity. It was an era of exploring, learning, and taking risks. The Limon couple had reluctantly entered the intriguing world of swinging, even though they kept their personal boundaries, blurred, and vows leaned more towards guidelines. It was at this pivotal moment that Jonathan Hearn entered the scene. This tall, young, and passionately devoted individual had become a firefighter and practiced religious scriptures with the same ease as he extinguished a fire. When Jonathan met Sabrina at the age of 22, she was almost a decade his junior, yet she was already smitten and unable to keep her feelings to herself. As time passed, these three unique souls began to navigate the complex tapestry of their relationship with each other as their guide. They met at the Costco store, located in the middle of the absurd world of workplace happenings, where Sabrina was working. The initial encounter between them merely developed into an easy conversation, soon transforming into raging texts, secret rendezvous, and heartbroken confessions. While there was a certain sense of divine providence that connected Sabrina with Jonathan, Sabrina strongly resented the feeling that she had found herself falling back in love. Jonathan, on the other hand, was far from satisfied with simply being the other man in her life. He felt it had to be otherwise. Jonathan firmly believed that Sabrina was entirely his, and she belonged only to him. Having that realization, he made it a point to be the one to chase Sabrina, to be the one to capture her whimsical heart, and to hold her firmly within his grasp. One of the most significant obstacles that Sabrina had to face was that of Robert Limon, the person who seemed to embody everything she could not possibly desire in a partner, the one who continuously defied the unspoken divine purpose that had connected them. For Sabrina, it became obvious that this wasn't simply an encounter that was meant to be. Instead, it developed into a twisted plot, fueled by sheer desperation and a deep-rooted lust for power. When it came to Robert Limon, he was far from the first name that crossed inspectors' minds. For many, Sabrina had become synonymous with a harrowing tragedy that had left a devastating impact on the people around her. As a result, everyone felt an immense burden of grief and frustration, not knowing who could have possibly orchestrated such a cowardly act. The ripple effect of this tragedy still resonates today, as people who had known Sabrina, or even been involved with her, continue to grapple with the weight of an unseen truth buried beneath the surface of the event. As to Jonathan Hearn, who was now being considered more closely by investigators, he merely represented another piece of a puzzle that was growing much too large to comprehend. Fueled by a desire for truth and a fervent desire to protect his loved ones, Jonathan was determined to delve deep into the world of pain that had been inflicted upon Sabrina, in order to uncover all of the disturbing truths concealed beneath the surface. Time would prove how much was at stake, and Jonathan's unwavering resolve would be the very backbone that would hold up against the harsh truth that lay within the walls of this inexplicable tragedy. Phone records, social media, surveillance. That's when the story began to unfold like a tragic novel. They learned about the affair, the love notes, the emails discussing how life would be better without him. But that wasn't enough to arrest them. Not yet. Detectives went old-school wiretaps. For weeks, they listened in on whispered phone calls and cryptic meetings, And then a breakthrough. Jonathan, increasingly paranoid, began to unravel. He spoke to Sabrina in code, but the message was clear. He was afraid. Afraid they were being watched. Afraid the plan was falling apart. And finally, he slipped. On December 9, 2014, Jonathan Hearn was arrested. In his car, police found a loaded handgun, motorcycle gear, and a handwritten journal filled with scriptures and confessions. Under pressure, Jonathan confessed, but not all at once. First, he claimed he acted alone, that Sabrina didn't know. But detectives knew better. They had the wiretaps, the text, the damning trail of digital footprints. Faced with life in prison, Jonathan folded. He agreed to a deal, 25 years. In exchange for his testimony against Sabrina, his confession was chilling. He said Sabrina wanted a new life but couldn't bring herself to leave Robert. She had tried to poison him once, lacing his banana pudding with chemicals. It hadn't worked, so they talked murder. Cold, deliberate, planned murder. Jonathan told the court that Sabrina encouraged him, that she helped him map out Robert's schedule, that she told him when to strike, and then she waited. While Robert bled out on a concrete floor, she went about her day. Business as usual, smiling, texting, preparing, for a future she thought was finally within reach. Sabrina was arrested in November 2015. Charged with murder, conspiracy, accessory, and solicitation, she pleaded not guilty. Her defense painted Jonathan as a religious fanatic, obsessed and dangerous. They said she was manipulated, that she had no idea what he was capable of. But the jury didn't buy it. They saw the texts, heard the tapes, witnessed the pattern. In 2017, Sabrina Limon was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to 25 years to life. Jonathan began his sentence too, his dreams of righteous love buried beneath bars and regret. The children, left without a father, and essentially without a mother, were taken in by family. Silver Lakes went quiet again, but not in the same way. The lake still shimmered, the houses still stood, but trust had been broken. And in every whispered conversation, every cautious glance, the question lingered. How well do we ever really know the people we love?